Hi, my name is Ravi Jagarlapudi, and a very warm welcome to my course on latest corporate learning strategies, innovations, and emerging learning approaches. I am from Sai Acuity Institute of Learning Private Limited, and today I've got an agenda for you. I'm here to answer 6 vital questions for you. What are those? Number one, who am I? I'll do a small intro. Why did you create this course? Will be your obvious next question. What material would you share with me and what resources? Is this a practical course or a theory-based one? What do you exactly cover in this course and what will I really learn? And the last and most important question would be, why should I go through this course and who exactly is a target audience as such? So let's begin, guys. There you go. This is me. So my name is Ravi Jagarlapudi. Coming to my work experience, I have worked for 10 years at HSBC and for over 4.5 years at Wells Fargo. And for the last 5 years, I've been running my own consultancy firm called Sai Acuity Institute of Learning Private Limited, where we work with clients on their learning strategy, learning innovation, learning frameworks, and the latest learning technologies as such. So that's about me, and let's proceed. That's me smiling. So just a brief in terms of my learning journey in HSBC Wells Fargo and Sai Acuity. At HSBC, my first initiation into learning began in 2004 when I was promoted as an assistant manager for a process called Customer Telephone Services. So CTS, it's called CTS training. And for the next 2.5 years, I was exposed to training delegates. It was an 8-week instructional design model curriculum where I had to train participants for this particular process. And it was very interesting journey because initially we had to train for 5 weeks and then we had to send the participants to something called an academy where they have the proof of budding in terms of understanding how exactly the customers react and what exactly are their needs, etc. And they come back after 2 weeks back to training for the last week before we hand them over to the operations asset. So it was an 8-week model initially. So that gave me a lot of exposure to instructional design models. And that's where my learning journey began. After that, I was selected into a transition project in Mortgage Service Center, where they actually wanted to change or shift a particular process from Sheffield in United Kingdom to India. So me along with 3 other colleagues of mine were selected for that particular process where we went to Sheffield, we got trained into that particular process and we had to come back and then deliver training, ensure that the entire process went BAU and we were quite successful in that. After that, I've got promoted as a manager for the South Asia division of the Central L&D team in HSBC, where my exposure began in the learning project management space. It was a very interesting space where I worked for 3 years for different global transformation projects. It gave me a wonderful exposure. Post which my stint with the last stint with HSBC was into management training at the software entity called Global Technologies. After that, I joined Wells Fargo as a learning consultant, was a line of business learning partner for operations to start with, and then I was a line of business partner for technology for 2 huge lines of businesses. Learned a lot over there under the guidance of senior leaders, before which I was partnering with some vice presidents over there, and then we thought, let's actually start a startup on the learning consulting piece, and that's how the last 5 years have been at Sai Acuity Institute of Learning, where we consult with clients, we work with a lot of students and professionals in their learning journey as such. So that's in short my journey with learning as such, and let's move on. So what's the purpose of this particular course? If I were to ask myself this particular question, I was dealing with learning strategy, dealing with innovation approach and learning experience platforms. But there have been a lot of updates since I started my journey as a training consultant back in 2004. So over the last 15 years or last 18 years, I've seen the transition of learning happening. The kind of ID models were changing constantly. We were being rebranded from training to learning, and there's been a huge journey over there from a customer experience standpoint. So I was looking into what are the latest developments in my own field, because I think curiosity is something which is ingrained in a learning consultant. Now that's been with me all along. And because of that, I've done my own research in terms of what are the latest learning strategies which have been adopted by top companies. So I'm going to give you a brief in terms of around maybe 6 to 7 companies. What are the latest strategies they have? What are the innovation? What is the innovation which is happening across in these particular industries? Also, with respect to learning approaches, there are a couple of huge tidal waves hitting the learning world, guys. One is the learning sciences, a thoroughly scientifically researched approach, which is going to hit us. I'm going to talk about it. We're going to learn more about that. And also, we're going to learn about evidence-informed learning experience design. So if you look at it, what's the intent of being a learning consultant? We want to ensure effective, efficient, and enjoyable learning experiences for our learners, won't we? So that being the intent, we will also have a look at, finally, what are the different learning experience platforms which are available for us. We'll explore them and we'll also look at case studies of some of the companies which are using these learning experience platforms. So we'll go step by step. So in terms of defining what exactly is a learning experience platform, how exactly it works, what are the different models which are available, different technologies which are available. So entire purpose, if you really look at it, I will look at the latest strategies, innovation approaches, and the LXPs which are available as part of this particular course. So moving on, the next question obviously will be, what are the resources which we are going to provide? So yes, the first number one are the new learning models. We'll have a look at a spate of learning models across different learning leaders across the world. We'll look at the latest learning experience platforms, as I said earlier in the earlier slide. Most importantly, we look at who are the learning influencers presently who are doing a lot of research in the area of learning. We look at the list of them. We look at a lot of resources in terms of what white papers they've been publishing, what are the latest innovations which they have come up with. So I will definitely provide a lot of websites, PDFs, documents, and videos as part of the resources guys for you. In terms of curriculum, so what is the curriculum? There are two segmentations which I've done. So there are two segments in this particular course. The first, I cover the latest corporate learning strategies and innovations. So I look at micro-learning, I look at space lessons, I look at data university, success platform, workforce success platform, Udemy and Mindflash, avatar-based learning, and the upcoming metaverse, which people are talking about. I'm going to deal with that. Also, in terms of the second segment, emerging learning approaches, we look at in detail about learning sciences. We look at evidence-informed learning experience design, the entirety of it. We will look at curiosity, the impact of curiosity on learning and how to keep our learners motivated so that they themselves would know where exactly they are and they want to know where exactly they can go and how exactly we can create a learning ecosystem. That's the entire intent of this course, guys. Moving on, who exactly are my target audience? I'm looking at human capital professionals and students. So students pursuing management degrees in human resources, learning consultants, HRBPs, learning leaders, learning project managers, and learning architects are my target audience for this course. So that being said, let's begin, guys. And this is an exploratory journey on the latest innovations in learning. And I'm looking at learning myself and also teaching in terms of what has been my research in terms of the latest innovations in learning, guys. So let's begin. Thank you, guys.